Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here with you today. This is a very profound subject. I was thinking about it. You could go in a lot of different directions about it. It's easy to put avatar incarnations on the pedestal and put all the power in their symbolism. But that's not why they came. And that's the point that Swamiji makes in this reading. He's saying that we are like them. And I think it's in the past, Swami Kriyananda's book, but if you know, you can correct me, that there's a series of pictures of Yogananda with various devotees. One is an American Indian chief. Another is the head of the Mexican meditation group. Another, he's with a lady, I can't remember who it was. And in every picture, Yogananda looks exactly like the person he's with. And that's what masters do. They see your higher nature and they reflect it to you. So by being with them, they show you who you are. Now, Swami Kriyananda, we couldn't say was an avatar, but the principle is the same. He was a very high soul, very nearly a master when he incarnated in this life. I believe he finished the job in this lifetime that just passed. And when I first came to Ananda, I had a tremendous amount of insecurity. I had some rough family background that I was working out. That's why I came onto the spiritual path at a young age. And Swamiji, being very gracious, he sort of mixed with us and interacted with us, and we kind of took it for granted that we could communicate with a person like that. But every now and then, there'd be like a project or some reason to go talk to him, and I would get so nervous because I said, oh my God, he's going to see my stuff. The stuff that I keep secret from everybody. So I would go and go talk to him, and every single time he looked right through that stuff and talked to my soul. And when I came away from there, I knew my soul a little bit better. And he was like, what stuff? There's no stuff here. There's a soul talking to a soul. And he was an advanced disciple, a channel of an avatar. So Yogananda said, imagine the best mother that ever lived as a human being and what love she gave to her baby. Now multiply that by like 10 gazillion, and that's Divine Mother. There's no criticism. There's no rebuke. There's no rejection. Unconditional, perfect, pure love. So a master comes. Different masters have different qualities. We know that Swami Sri Yukteswar was a great master of wisdom. Maybe you didn't go running to Sri Yukteswar for mother's hug, but you did go to him for clarity, wisdom, profundity, the deepest understanding. But Yogananda was a devotee in his own style of worship. He was a man of great feeling. That's the funny thing about divine incarnations. They still have a human personality, just like we do. Yogananda said, God is the ocean of spirit, and we are the waves. And we got so busy being the wave, we forgot we were the ocean. Divine Incarnation knows he's the ocean, but he's still got a human nature. Yogananda's approach, he was an avatar, according to, he didn't proclaim it arrogantly, but one disciple really wanted to know, and he one time asked him, sir, are you an avatar? And he said quietly, it would take such a one to do this type of work. Not like I'm an avatar. It would take that type of power to start an important spiritual work in a world where nobody knows about these things. You'd have to have a tremendous amount of energy to generate the interest, to gather the souls. So this isn't the my guru is better than your guru thing, which Swamiji said is a normal thing on the path. Everyone's so devoted to their guru that he's the best. It's human nature. But Yogananda, I mean, I could relate his horoscope to you, but you wouldn't understand what I was saying. But he was a man of tremendous feeling. And he was given the title by his guru, Prem Avatar, which means an avatar of love. And his guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar, was a Gyan avatar, an avatar of wisdom. And when Sri Yukteswar was training Yogananda, and he didn't really need any spiritual training, he was born already enlightened, but he did need some training to get ready to come to a Western country in, like you might call, behavior. You know, if you've read the book Mejda, which tells the story of Yogananda as a young man, Yogananda did some yogic practices which are I'm not the body, and he would meditate all night in crematorium grounds. So if they're burning bodies, there's a pretty good reminder you're not the body. And he one time he was bringing a skeleton home to take to his meditation room to like meditate. And if you're a Catholic, you'll see sometimes pictures of Mother Mary with like bones and skulls at her feet. So some of this symbolism is also in Christian religion. So he was trying to take, I don't know if it's a whole skeleton or just the head or whatever, he's trying to take it up to his attic where he meditated. And his father met him at the door and said, no skeletons in the house, you know. You see, so now if he had come to America and like said, like you should have a skeleton in your meditation, like it wouldn't have been well received. So Sri Yukteswar is like, just give him a little like behavioral training so to go to the Western country. But his consciousness, he said in the AY, it says somewhere, so evidently he was satisfied with my spiritual development. But he was giving me some training for my mission. So that's the mystery of Avatar. How does human being and divine soul interact? Because we still have both parts. We're stuck in our human nature and we got all caught up in our thoughts, emotions, opinions. And we call it Eric or Drupada or Mayatri. Like Mayatri is a thing. But Swamiji said, our ego is just a bundle of thoughts and emotions that we're identified with. It's not a real thing. It's like a little tornado of thoughts and emotions that, or Eric or Drupada or Larita or whoever, like we got this little tornado going on, and we're like all invested in it, desires, attachments, and if we could just like unplug the tornado, it's just like unplugging a fan and it stopped whirling around, just like, then it would just become stillness. And when it was stillness, you would see the ocean of spirit and not just be all in your wave. See, but we live in a very active, frenetic, modern world. So the world's a big tornado, our minds are little tornadoes, and so how often do we listen to the Bible's advice, be still and know I am God? See, just we could change the words for modern times. Unplug the tornado. You know, it's like just stop, watch, listen, which is what meditation is. So in those series of pictures, Master's with all these different disciples, and he just tunes into their deepest aspect and radiates that to them. And in one picture he looks like love, and another he looks like power, and another he looks like whatever that quality was. I had that experience with Swami Kriyananda, maybe not at quite the intensity level as what it would be like if it was with Paramahansa Yogananda, but it was strong. And it's quite amazing. Now nowadays in our culture, the word guru is sneaking in, you know, to the vernacular. Tax guru, fitness guru, all types of gurus. And the people are using that word like teacher. And it's correct, it's not incorrect. Guru does mean teacher. But on the spiritual path, what we want is a Sat Guru. A Sat Guru is someone who knows truth, 100%. Not someone who's like college professor giving you the ideas. Now, why do we want that? Well, I don't know about you, but this is kind of tricky getting out of your karmic tornado, isn't it? Anyone have like trouble getting out of your little tornado? Is like, or you just keep buzzing, and you can like, on New Year's Eve, you can make a big vow to give up chocolate. And by January 3rd, there's a wrapper by your bed. It's not that easy to like change. And if you just get someone who gives you philosophy, how to change, well, that's a start. But Yogananda said that anyone who's serious about spirituality has lived hundreds of thousands of human lives already. And the first sentence of the very profound and ancient Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, the very first sentence is, and now we come to the study of yoga. And it seems like you could easily skip over that. So like, okay, introductory remark, like yoga class, like now we come to yoga. But what Yogananda explained is, in all of those hundreds of thousands of lives, we've been searching for happiness. And we've tried everything. We've tried romance, we've tried power, we've tried money, we've been the hero, we've been the villain, we've been everything under the sun. And now we come to the study of self-realization. The only thing left is to look within. The study of yoga, not hatha yoga, to have a fit body, but Raja Yoga, the science of meditation, of self-realization. Now the last thing, the PhD program, is to turn your attention in, go through the tornado, and find, or let's call it a hurricane, and let's find the eye of the hurricane, where it's calm and still. And when it's calm and still, we find our soul. But when we start to do that, we start having to redirect energy patterns, old habits, old thinking. Maybe we're critical, maybe we're judgmental, maybe we have a desire we can't let go of. And so if it was just us working on ourselves, like a sculptor chiseling away at the granite block, that would be kind of a long, slow process. But Yogananda said, of all your karma, of all those lives, the grace of the Satguru will take 25% of your karma, and the grace of the God will take 50%. So you have to manage only 25%, which will take 125% of your effort. But it's like if you had a child and you said, every dollar you save, we'll put in 3 in your piggy bank. Because spiritual teachers are great. If you have, in all of the autobiography of a yogi, there's many masters, many saints. If you've read the book, you'll know about them. Master said of all the people in the autobiography, the only ones that were siddhas, which are liberated beings, other than the Kriya Yoga masters, were Swami Pranabananda, who's the saint with 2 bodies, and Ram Gopal Muzandar, the sleepless saint. Even Anandamayi Ma and all the others are Jivan Muktas, which means freed while living. It means they're in a state of enlightenment, they're not making any more karma, but they have some old karma, ancient karma, that's still remaining. And Master said that some saints prefer to keep that old karma because they have the mission to come to earth many times. So they keep some of that old karma to pull them back to the earth. They're already enlightened, they're with God. It's like you don't even care. Like if you're in bliss, you forget, like body or no body, it doesn't really matter. Anandamayi Ma, if people didn't feed her, she wouldn't eat. She didn't think about her body. She was everything. But she had to function through this body. So Master said our goal should be Jivan Mukta, to become freed while living. Let's get enlightened first, we're worried about liberation second. Because once we're enlightened, we are free in our consciousness. We just got some old stuff to clean up. We're not making anything new with God, God's consciousness. If you're a real hotshot and you say, I don't want to stop for the bliss one moment, let's just finish it. Let's just clear up every little bit of karma, you can become a siddha. A siddha has no karma left of his own, but he was born with karma and he had to have a process of growth. When a siddha dies and returns, there's no evolutionary journey anymore. They're already free. They went back to the God beyond form state, and then they come back, then they're an avatar. Avatar is not here to work out his own karma. They are a portal of energy, and they can give energy to as many as want it. If you were a Jivan Mukta, you could give maybe to 1,000 devotees, maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000. If you were a Siddha, maybe you could give to 50,000 devotees. But it's like, how many power plants are there in Texas? And if Texas population like 10 times overnight, could we supply energy to them all? An avatar can supply energy to anyone, everyone, the whole galaxy, whole universe, because he's equivalent to the power of God. So there are stages. This is what I've been taught. And so I like to think of the story of Swami Kriyananda. He went to Yogananda at a very young age, and Yogananda recognized him as an advanced soul and gave him a lot of responsibility right away. He had Kriya Yoga initiation duties like 6 months after being on the path. Yogananda sent him to lecture in his place within a year. After, like, he canceled at the last minute, went Swamiji. The curtain opens, there's all these people wanting Yogananda, there's a 22-year-old boy. And he handled it. And it tells you he's not 22-year-old boy. But at one point, Master had him go to a party, garden party in Los Angeles. And Swamiji loved to tell the story. Those of you who have been around, you know the story. But it's fun to hear it. And there was a psychiatrist at the party. And Swamiji was young and super enthusiastic about the path. And just imagine if you were living in a spiritual center with an avatar. And like you feeling this energy. And things are happening, and people are telling you what's going on in their meditation, and not normal stuff, apparently. I mean, in the end, Master's saying it is normal. This is the real way that life should be. But it doesn't seem normal. So he went to this garden party. He's talking to a psychiatrist about the miracles he's seen Yogananda do. And the psychiatrist's response was, this guy's nuts. You better come see me on Tuesday for an appointment. Maybe you need to go on lithium or something. It's like, because you're out of your mind. And so that didn't go too well. So then later, a few days later, Swamiji was back at Mother Center, and he ran into Yogananda. And Yogananda said, oh, by the way, Don, when you're at parties talking to skeptical people, don't talk about miracles. It doesn't help. And Swamiji said, what? You know what he said? And he looked him right in the eye and he said, I know every thought you think. That's an avatar. And he could do that with everybody. In the mythology of India, Krishna has 27,000 wives, and every wife thinks she's first wife. He's quite a man. You see, he's like, he can give full energy to each particle of the universe like it's the only particle. So you don't need to say, don't give me too much because I want Eric to get it. He can give me full, and he can give Eric full, and he can give Mayatri full, he can give Mark full, he can give all of us full. So if you want the help, you don't want just a teacher and a teaching. You want someone who can give you the strength. So perhaps the most important sentence in the New Testament, in my case, and I think Swamiji has said this, to as many as received him, to them he gave the power to become the sons of God. Now, we've all heard about doubting Thomas, right? How many in this room would say, well, sometimes I have a little doubting Thomas in me? You know, like you doubt yourself, you don't trust yourself, I'm not good enough. You know, what Arjuna called the carping spirit. Anybody got a little carping spirit in them? Like a little resistance, a little judgment, I'm not good enough. So Thomas is like the poster boy of like doubt for the whole Christian world. I go to India frequently. I've been to South India a number of times. In Kerala, they're very proud that they have 100% literacy in Kerala. And they have 1/3 Muslim, 1/3 Hindu, and 1/3 Christian. And if you were to go by a church in Kerala on a Sunday and look in it, it's standing room only. Indians like their religions. It doesn't matter which one it is. Do you know who brought that religion to South India? It's doubting Thomas. Thomas went to India as an apostle, and he brought Christianity to millions of people there. And it was a country where the established government knew they didn't want another religion. They liked Hinduism. You know, so who's this guy bringing a new teaching? He got crucified. Probably wanted to be crucified, just like St. Paul did. I want to go out just like my master. You know, except St. Paul said, not like my master exactly, I don't deserve that. Do me upside down. You see, because I don't want to, you know, steal his thunder, not that he could have. So Thomas couldn't believe, and in the end, he brought his master's teachings to millions of people in India. When I came to Ananda, I was pretty much a mess, emotionally. I had strength in a masculine way, but not in an emotional way. I needed a lot of healing. And Swami and Master, they just said, we don't care about that. Just think of us, open yourself to us, we'll flush it out. And just offer yourself, attune, receive, give it a shot, see what happens. And my whole life has just been like a continuous mystery. That's what I do, and it just keeps expanding. And I'm saying to my group, I don't really want to be this big. And it just keeps expanding. I said, okay, whatever you want. It just keeps expanding. And if you invite with, what does the Sermon on the Mount say? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. You want to see God? The way is purity of heart. And that means offering whatever you got. Clean dishes, dirty dishes. You know, good meditation, lousy meditation. Positive thought, negative thought. Well, we don't want to hang out in negative thought, but if we wake up and there's negative thought, just give it to God again and again. Before you know it, those dishes will get clean. Because it's not just your effort. You're getting 3 hits of grace for every effort you make, if you're sincere. And that comes from a Satguru. The Sadguru is someone who knows God and he can share it with you. All the other gurus are good. They can give you teachings. But you want one who can lift you up. That's my view. So that's the mystery of the avatar. But we might say, oh, my avatar is better than your avatar. The most important thing in this sentence is that we're like them. And the thought I'd like to leave us with is, Master said, you don't become enlightened, you improve your knowing. Because God became everything, including you and me. So the enlightenment's already in us. We just need to unplug the tornado. And if we unplug the tornado, it settles down and it's like, I don't know why I'm happy. I don't know why I feel peace. Because we're a part of the ocean. So a being comes who knows it's the ocean and walks with the waves, who think they're only waves, and quietly, very patiently, is always broadcasting us, you're not a wave, you're an ocean. And we get all caught up in our dramas and things, and we forget. And he just constantly gives sunshine. And when you become really receptive to it, you say, I'm really tired of being a perfect wave. I think I'll just go back to being the ocean. You see, and he says, good one. I've been waiting a long time to hear you say that. And so the great mystery of it is, Like, who's more zealous about their religion than the Jewish people? They waited for the Messiah 1,000 years. Yogananda's teaching would say the Messiah came and they had such an idea about what the Messiah was supposed to be, they didn't recognize him. See? And, but if you had an open heart, you'd feel it. I think he's the one. But even if he came today, do you think people would recognize him? I don't think they would. Not unless they were simple, open, and feeling. And then it wouldn't be like people's preconceptions were. So that's why it's a great mystery. We have preconception. We just need to open our heart and offer it up, and then our heart will guide us. So it is a great mystery, the Avatar, because you think it's easier to think of God as like Michelangelo painting. But to think of him as your best friend, who's super funny, really positive, unconditionally loving, is a gazillionaire. He's super generous and always helpful. And he's there for you any moment you ask for him. I don't know what's not attractive about that. And he wants to give it all to you. That's a Satguru. And you all have one if you want one. God bless you.